Oh shit, we are.
Okay.
All right. So in theory, we hit the button. We should be live.
We believe we are.
We are live.
All right. Yep, I just got the notification. All right. All right, folks. So we are here tonight to give away our prize package for the contest giveaway that we did for 250 subs. I am currently sitting at 257, so I really want to thank everybody who participated. Hi, Hobbs. How you doing?
Hey, Hobbs.
It's been a wonderful little ride. I got I got to 250 a lot faster than I thought I was going to, and then of course I lost 5 and had to do it again.
It happens.
And actually, my 250th sub that stuck was Brad Bronco Juggalo.
Oh, very cool.
Who actually participated. I've talked to him a few times in you guys' chat, and he hadn't checked out the channel, so he came by when he saw Jason from Horrific Nightmares do the video. So got a couple people in that were said that Monty sent them, and I got a few from Jason, and a couple of others. I can't remember who else sent them. Hobbs sent Jennifer Tochi, so she's a sub now. I've seen her around quite a bit. But we're going to go ahead and, excuse me, voice crack. We're going to go ahead and pull up the randomizer here, and
I want that Emmanuel DVD.
that one's one that's definitely right straight up your calling. All right, so everybody here is on the list, and everybody here is on it 2 times. We're going to run the races here, and hope this doesn't blow everybody's eardrums out.
Not too bad. Go me,
go Duck, go Duck, go.
Eliminating Monty, or
yep, we are eliminating Monty G.
Oh no, not Monty. Wait, is that our name? No.
Yep, and you still got one more. And
oh no. Wait. No! Think shot, no! Okay, so he's not taking that Emmanuel away from me. That's good.
You duck bastards.
There goes Boss.
Oh,
First
no.
one. Everybody's still got at least one shot left. So, uh-oh.
Wait, no, you stupid duck.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, Hobbs. I think that was both of yours.
Less competition. Let's see, who is it? No, Jackie, go! Go, Jackie, go!
Robert Harding on that one. That's a new channel to me. I just subbed to him a few days ago when he did a video.
Definitely check there. We don't know them. Is that Brad?
That's Brad.
Yes.
Yay! You're not getting on my Emmanuel, you bastards.
All right, we got Sean, Brad, Jen, Haas, and Monty left. So
it looks like Sean's gonna. Yay! The horror reporter did not beat us.
And that knocks Sean out. So
Sorry, boss.
Sorry, boss.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
No, you stupid duck!
Yes.
Hey,
and that was Brad's second one. So we got Hobbs Horror, Jen, Horror with Hoss, and Monty G left one time around.
Oh, boy.
No! 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 God damn it!
After we bribed you, Moon. After we bribed you.
Oh no, not Hobbs! Emmanuel over me either.
All right, so our last elimination comes down to Monty G and Horror with Hoss.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, so Horror with Hoss is left. That is our winner.
Boo!
Congratulations, Hoss. Also, Moon, we want our money back.
I love that the Emmanuel DVD. You could just forget to put it in his box.
I couldn't do that. That wouldn't be very nice. So our winner is Horror with Hoss. So Hoss, down in the description below is all of my social media links. Get in touch with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of that stuff, dude. And we'll get your prize package out to you probably next week.
Very
Excellent.
good. Awesome. Some great prizes in there.
Yes.
I packed it good. I thought I tried to be kind of balanced between the cheap stuff that I could pick up at work and kind of fun stuff, and then there's a couple of extras thrown in just for shits and grins. So
when we won the last one from you, you packed some really fun stuff. We loved all the stuff you guys gave us.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys did. That was a lot of fun, that one too. Unfortunately, the computer that I had at the time, I couldn't do like this. I had to record it, and it still was so choppy that you could barely tell.
You're coming up.
But yeah. Yep. All right. So that's our contest entry. Oh, you're welcome, Hobbs, and thank you for participating. Thank you for sending folks my way.
Woohoo, Hobbs.
So we want to talk about a movie that is a hidden gem.
It's upside down.
It's even good upside down.
It confused you because the title is at the bottom instead of at the top.
We'll go with that.
Yes.
This movie is one of those movies that was talked about a little bit when it came out and then just kind of seemed to fall off the radar. Wasn't a whole lot of chatter in groups about it. I want to give a shout out to Mike Brackett, the horror geek. He did an in-depth video on it a couple of years ago, and that's what turned me on to it. And then I bought it, and it sat here on the table for like 2 months. And I just one of those nights.
Thank you, Hobbs.
One of those nights where I just decided, screw it. I'm not gonna sit here with YouTube or whatever. I had 3 movies to watch, and that was one of them. And instantly fell in love with this movie. It's not for everybody. This movie is a little rough around the edges at places. But I loved it. And the very first people that I thought of was Jen and Christian. So,
Hi.
Was there any particular reason?
I have no idea why you would come to mind with this movie.
What's your favorite year? It's such a bad line, but it's so much. It fits so well.
Yeah, it does.
So for anybody out there who doesn't know, and we are going to be talking full spoilers. This is a no holds barred conversation. We both have done reviews for it that are spoiler free. I really recommend this to anybody who likes the hardcore, who likes 80s slashers, who can handle the rape scene that's in it, and the rape scene is pretty intense.
Yes.
And we've already discussed that before we went on, but we'll discuss it again because I mean it's 9.5 minutes long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, that's there are a few things in there worth talking about.
It's a very thorough rape scene.
Yeah, everybody gets a turn. Debbie Doorknob.
Oh dear.
There.
I'm sure Jen remembers that slur, but I don't know if Christian's ever heard it before.
I can't say it's a half, but I have a pretty good idea what it's going for.
I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
But we're introduced at the beginning of the movie to two separate groups. Well, kind of three groups, but one group comes together. We have a bunch of jackasses, frat boys, you know.
Douchebag bros.
Yeah,
Douchebag
Yeah.
bros.
Very much so. Who and their nerdy friend who hangs out with them for whatever reason. Poor Patrick kind of gets the short end of the stick in more ways than one.
Yeah.
But and then of course we have our, would you call them heroes?
Anti-hero?
Characters of which the story focuses around.
The lesser of the douchebags?
The less terrible group of people.
Yeah. That fits.
Yeah, we have at least two that are not bad in the beginning.
Our heroes question mark?
In quotations.
Yeah. I really want to give a quick kind of shout out to the cast. These are all people who have never done much more than like community theater kind of things before this movie. If you look up their IMDb credits, they're really short. But everybody has in this, to me, did a good enough acting job that it really brings up those 80s slasher movie vibes.
Yeah.
Nobody in this is going to win an Oscar anytime soon, but not that that's a great metric anymore anyway. But
Laurence Olivier, this film is not.
no, it's definitely not. It could be a modern Shakespeare, but you know.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
You're not far off.
So, kind of give me you guys' thoughts as to how you felt about the protagonist group as they come in, the three guys, the three girls, four.
Yeah.
The Sam character.
Yeah. I thought they, acting wise, I thought they all did a pretty damn good job. Again, a lot of them were theater actors, so they all really got that characterization of slasher movie trope characters, but not being like super tongue in cheek. Like they're acting like they would if they were in an 80s slasher movie, not in a super tongue in cheek way like we've seen with certain other movies.
Yeah.
We're an 80s slasher movie.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, we're an 80s slasher movie. Wink, wink, haha, tongue in cheek. This one's just straight up, no, we're just a slasher movie that is trying to feel as much like the 80s as humanly possible. I mean, the director said that he wanted these characters to feel like characters who time traveled from the 1980s into a modern day Bolorama.
And he achieved it.
He achieved it very well.
He did. He really achieved it well. How I felt about the characters. See, I think that this movie is so goddamn good because both like sets of characters. Initially, I was like, oh god,
they're all terrible people. They're all scumbags.
What was Moon thinking? Oh my god! I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, oh my god, what was Moon thinking? These jackasses. I'm gonna have to spend time with these assholes, and they all get it. But another thing that we don't really talk about is the costumes, and that's not something we usually talk about whatever movie we're doing. And the costumes are so good. It just hits you like a sledgehammer when you're going through the Bobble-rama with these characters, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, they're all very memorable. They all have a very noticeable silhouette. You can tell all of them from like if the character's blacked out, you can instantly tell who's who just based around their outfit, and even their personalities come out through their outfits very well.
And the douchebag dude bros, of God, and I love one of the characters, Patrick, the one with the glasses, the less of the bastards of that group.
No, he's still a bastard.
But you know, I guess the one that has sort of a kind of moral compass, I like that because it's a very much of a not even his name being Matthew. Because if we
Patrick.
Patrick, I don't know why I thought Matthew.
I got that wrong in the review too.
But he reminds me of a character Matthew from like I Spit on Your Grave or like The Accused, the same kind of like, no guys, we're going too far. I thought we were just gonna scare her, and that's a trope in a lot of these movies. But this one carries it really. I don't know. There's something about his performance that really. That's one of the things that was starting to click. I was like, oh, wait a minute here. What are we doing?
The actor plays him a tad bit more sinister than the actor who played Matthew in the original I Spit on Your Grave, or even in The Accused as well. He's a little bit more sinister and imposing. Maybe that's just the physique of the actor. He doesn't play as nice schlubby, but he's still surrounded by these big buff frat bros, so he still comes off as like the weaker, easily manipulated one of the group.
Yes, he very much is, but he's got a little bit of a conscience, which makes what he does even more like it's even worse with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's where your moral compass, and I thought that was very smart because I think he was tipping his hat to movies from the past because a lot of times we do have one character in the group like this, and I thought that was a very smart. I was like, okay, I'm impressed, movie. I'm very impressed. I also liked where the girl that gets raped, how they say, look what you're wearing. I thought that struck me. That really struck me because you hear that in real life cases where she's in the super short skirt and stuff, and I thought, God, that is such a sleight of hand. It's something you could almost miss, but if you're paying attention, you're like, oh, this movie is saying something without being preachy. I was very impressed with that.
Just a sleight of hand there. It works really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hidden little nuances with this film that's like way deeper than a slasher movie set in a Bowl-O-Rama should be.
That's one of those things that it didn't really hit me until like maybe the second viewing through, is that, you know, and the version that you guys got is the DVD version. So on the Blu-ray version, or if you can find the if you kind of go sailing for the other version of it, there's actually a line in it that the trans character makes about Lisa going commando.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's in y'all's version or not.
I don't think it was. I didn't catch it this morning. I don't think
there is in the hardcore version of it. There is actually a shot of when Lisa bends over.
Mm-hmm.
There is full on in your face the whole 9 yards. And the trans character makes the comment about she wished that she could go commando, but she can't do it until after she gets an operation or two.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they get to the end of the rape scene, that's kind of one of those things that's, you know, when they flip up the skirt, they make the mention of, you know, that there's nothing underneath but hardwoods.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I'm not sure what the line exactly is, but basically they bring to the attention that she's not wearing anything underneath a skirt that short.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, is that the question of, is she asking for it? She's a slut. Well, you know, some people would throw, oh, she's just a slut. She's asking for this. This is kind of partially her fault. Mm-hmm. Not totally, but it's partially. You know, I'm not saying that, but you could hear some people.
You hear people make these arguments.
You've heard that comment, you know, throughout the years, especially in the late '80s, early '90s, when things were becoming much more publicized.
Yes,
that was one of those things about, well, look how she's dressed and all of that. And the way she's dressed didn't really hit me until like the second watching this. Like, well, wait a minute, you know, I was just enjoying what it was. I wasn't really thinking about that in context with everything else.
Yeah.
it hit me on the initial watch. I was like, but then I watch a lot of rape revenge movies, and I was like, oh, that I just was very impressed. Again, it just really surprised me. Again, you can't judge a movie on its cover sometimes, or its thing. It really is a lot smarter than you would think it would be.
There's those little touches in there that make the movie very, very memorable.
Mm-hmm.
But so we get a fight scene at the beginning of it between the Jamie character, who is set up to be your knight in shining armor kind of guy.
Yeah.
The other two that come in with him are kind of borderline flimsy for guys, but they're not. But they're much better than the other guys.
They're not malicious. They're not malicious.
But he's set up to be this nice guy and comes to the defense of the Sam character, which is the trans character. I don't want to keep calling them by that rather than their name. I decide the character's name is Sam.
Yes.
And I'm sure Christian did. I don't know if you watched the director's commentary or not.
I did.
Yeah.
He's a little bit dry. I didn't know if Jen made it through it or not. Would have been better if he'd had a couple other people to chat with. But he talks about the actor who played Sam in it as being openly gay, but the least feminine person that he has ever met. The guy is actually a construction worker in real life outside of the acting that he does. He works for a film or a commercial studio, and he builds sets for them to shoot commercials on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually the foreman for the guys who do the sets.
Very cool.
And had to learn to be this character, and then had to learn to amp this character up inappropriate for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he does a brilliant job.
He does do a very good job.
He does.
There's so much to that, the way that's played.
Mm-hmm.
The over the top minutes in it, the knife scene, a couple of other things that are done, are great. And then the subtle stuff, like again, my second watching, the line that you guys talked about, really kind of spoke to me as a person because of being growing up in a rural area in Alabama, being a little bit different, especially in the 80s when I grew up. That whole line about judging me without knowing me.
Knowing me, yeah.
It's us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those little things on the checklist that is like, oh, this is a Jen movie.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
But it's also a movie for everybody in our kind of group, because in some ways the normal, setting on the washing machine, elements of society would frown upon us loving horror the way that we do, or loving, growing up in the 80s, loving the music that I did, or different things.
Just being different, and difference, was ostracized.
Yeah, we're all kind of misfits.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So much more fun that way.
Yeah. That line really struck with me, though. Like, I loved, and what I liked about it is I didn't feel that line was included for brownie points. It felt very authentic. It felt very like
it felt like a line the character would say at that moment in time.
Exactly.
It felt genuine. The dialogue worked really well,
and I think that's why it hit me, because I was like, they're not saying this just to get brownie points. They actually, it comes from a real place. It's authentic, and I buy it and I jam with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. It almost felt like the actor wasn't acting that line.
Yeah.
I mean,
very much so.
After what I heard in the director's commentary on it, and then what I read on IMDb and all that with it about him, it's like, wow, I think that actually came from him more than that character.
Absolutely.
I don't know that character is that deep, but I think that actor was.
Yes, I think that's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And it feels really authentic. And you don't necessarily have to be, your sexual orientation doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just if you've ever walked in, a different
it's
path
a line
than most.
anybody who's been kind of ostracized for the things that they like or the things that they are can relate to.
Yeah, you don't have to check a certain box to go, oh, I feel this.
It's a universal kind of line.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of sets up this movie too, because what we were talking about earlier is this movie is a loving tribute from horror fans to horror fans.
Yes,
exactly.
This is a movie that is a labor of love, and you can feel it in every bit of this, all but that 9.5 minutes. But
that maybe wasn't as. Yeah,
I don't know. I would disagree because that's where the movie clicked with me. And I'm oh my god, they know what they're doing.
It's not like the loving kind of tongue-in-cheek way as the rest of the movie. That one's.
But you needed it to be that way.
If it was a tongue-in-cheek rape scene, it would have worked at all. No, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
It would have, and it was really brutal.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was like we were talking about before. It was one of those that really kind of heaped on to push it to the point where even people who were jaded horror fans, I think it got about 90%, I would say, of them. I would say there's probably another 10% that are so jaded that it was just whatever. Yeah. But you take a scene and you stretch it out to that length. You make sure that, again, everybody gets a turn. So you highlight each of those characters, and you highlight the differences in their personality as to what they each do.
Yeah.
Whether you have the first guy, I can't remember the lead guy's name, Steve.
Steve, yes.
Who is all about what he's doing to her.
Yes.
And it's all about the abuse and the situation. And then even after that, he steps back and orchestrates. Who goes when and what's, And then you get the second guy who's just kind of like, okay, I'm in the group, I got to do this. And then you get the third guy who's like, it's all about him.
Yes.
And pleasuring himself in this moment. That he doesn't care what's there or who's there or that it's a person. Even to the point that he puts on his sunglasses and is looking at himself in the mirror. And it's all about what he's, you see, he can't see anything in the mirror, but from, navel up. So he's not seeing her. He's only looking at his own prowess.
Yes.
Which for me brought up, I think it's an homage to American Psycho.
I do too. I also got that vibe. I forgot to mention that in a review, but yes, I also got that vibe from it. It's a very, very Patrick Bateman kind of thing to do.
Yeah. And then of course you get to the last guy who is the Patrick character, who is at this point reluctant, and he plays it, or they play it. I don't know if it was scripted that way or if it was the way the actor did it, but he keeps looking down like he doesn't want to be. Like it might be a combination of he doesn't want to be in there after someone else, like it's gone too far,
He's ashamed.
Yeah, he's ashamed.
He is the worst because he knows what it's bad. Like the others, some of them might know if it's wrong, but they don't care. This guy has like a twinge, and that actually somehow is more despicable than the ones that I don't fucking care. At least pick a side. Stand where your convictions are. He doesn't even have that where he can stand where his convictions are.
Yes.
So he's more than me.
And then, of course, the following moment into it where it's like he's fixing to just run away, and the Steve character, who is such an abusive asshole, comes over and tells him that if he doesn't use a foreign object, that he's going to use it on him. Yeah. And this guy is so afraid of Steve that rather than running away, he does what he's told to do. Which, even if you can't save her, you could have at least ran away and called the cops or something. But
it's kind of the same moral question as the others. Like he is in some ways worse than our alpha douchebag bro.
Yeah, because they're following along. That's just how he is as a person. The others are following him around, and they easily could stop him because the dude's foot is broken. He's walking around on crutches for the entire movie. He couldn't fight all of them off, but they go with him anyway.
Yeah, they show their underbellies to him.
Yeah, they still subservient to him.
Yeah, it's very again nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They take it and stretch the scene out. They give you each different type of rapist in a way, broad categories, but you get the one that it's about torturing the victim, the one that it's about themselves, the one that's just going along to get along, and then you have the guy who's coerced into it, and then you add a foreign object onto it, which is of course something that a lot of people have issues with.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's intended to make everybody uncomfortable, and in from your guys' opinion, in the movie, does it warrant the response that it gets?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I understand because it's a slasher movie. We need to have that body count. Can't have a body count of 3 people. That'd be like
that's pussy.
Yeah, that'd be a letdown. But like specifically those characters, yeah, absolutely, it's totally vindicated. I totally think it's justified.
I do too, but you're talking to someone who has been through a similar situations with not exactly like that, but I have had sexual abuse in my life, so I am totally for that. They are justified and they deserve to. They get what's coming. Some people say forgiveness is the best thing, and I admire those people. I really fucking do, but no.
Yeah.
No. I admire them, but I can't be like that. Oh yeah. I would definitely be in the other camp of let's turn this around. Let's dispense justice. Let's make sure these assholes never do it to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If I was on a jury, oh yeah.
The old line of "I spit on your grave." No jury in the world would prosecute.
Exactly. Yeah. That's just the way I am, and that's another thing. Being someone who did, and sometimes people who've been through situations like that can't watch those.
Yeah.
But I find it, and it's weird maybe, but I find it very cathartic. I find it extremely.
You get a comfort from them a lot.
I do, because you kind of wish that could have happened in real life, but you get kind of reliving through it, kind of like that. And it's weird, but. Probably my own fucked up twisted psyche. This is getting too dark. I'm sorry, guys.
Anyway, bowling.
But that leads us into the credit montage. Did you guys catch that is an absolute copy paste tribute?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved that.
It was so good. It was. Admittedly, I did not catch it on the first viewing, but I was watching it today, and I was like, "Wait a fucking minute."
I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, this is made for horror fans by horror fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that scene could have so easily, and there's another one we'll talk about in a minute that's a straight ripoff of another movie, but it so could have been, it's obscure enough that it's only going to be horror fans who are going to get it. Because most people don't think about that. They think about the opening scene is, from a lot of people, especially because like the TV edit from the 80s cut that out.
Yeah.
And the opening scene is Tina in the steam in the boiler room. Yeah. And a lot of times people forget about that. It spends a minute or so at the beginning of the credits showing you Freddy make the glove. Well, in this one, it shows the bowling bag killer making the implements of his trade.
Of his
Tools of the trade.
Yeah.
And that's got to be one of the coolest ideas for a mask ever.
The bowling bag, yeah, it's a fun idea. Yeah.
And again, it's working within their budget because they couldn't do like an elaborate thing.
Yeah, we can't do a big elaborate masquerade thing. What do we got lying around? Well, we got this bowling bag. If you put it upside down, it kind of looks like a skull.
Yeah,
let's use that.
Yeah. Again, it's what you got.
Yeah.
Yep. So we come back the next night, and everybody comes back, and I'm not sure how the hell Steve's going to try to bowl on a broken foot, but
Can you? I've never thought about it, but could you?
I would imagine no.
no, not well. If you were healed enough that you could put your weight on it, and it wasn't your slide foot, maybe.
I didn't.
But if
think
you're on
about
crutches, you're going to be kiddie bowling. You're going to be walking up to the line and chucking the ball.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing a league approach. And if you're in a league, you know, you have to do a league approach. It's how it works.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
I've never been bowling, so I didn't. Yeah, I never thought of it either. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the first time through, there was kind of these little twitches that went off in the back of my brain. It's like, you guys don't know how bowling works. But
I mean, but that kind of works even too, because I have that same thing with a lot of slash moves. Like Nail Gun Massacre drives me insane because I'm just like, where's the pressure tank to the nail gun? God damn it!
yeah.
But it's so cool. You got to give it a pass.
Yeah, you can look past it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. But one of the things that got me was when they come back the second night, they walk up to the counter and they're getting their shoes and stuff. And big reveal twist at the end of it is that it's Daddy.
Yes.
But
I love that.
in that scene, he's making eyes at her, and she's just she pulls down her sunglasses for a minute and looks at him and then pushes them back up. But he's definitely flirting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I like.
Well, it's something that did not cross my mind because I didn't see the father thing coming. But on a rewatch, I was like, ew, what's going on there, guy?
But again, it injects sleaziness wherever it can, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. I picked it up and I was like, ooh, this is fucked up and dirty movie, and I
Yeah.
fucking love you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any chance the movie gets to be dirty and sleazy, it will gladly take those opportunities.
Well, look at the movie we watched last night.
True, yeah.
But so we kind of fast forward through it into it, and we'll get to the bunch of jibber jabber mostly. And Steve sending someone for a beer that he never ends up getting all night. But Steve shows up with a couple of call girls, and then everybody else from the night before comes in. And the Lisa character kind of disappears pretty quick. And it leads to our first kill. Rick, I can't remember the guy's name. Ben, I think, hooks up with one of the call girls that went to get Steve the beer and heads up to the bathroom the men's room of all places to
It's on me and Marty's bucket list.
The cleanest and most wonderful place to go have sex. A men's bathroom at a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong, no problem there.
That's hot.
You're not going to be rolling around in puddles of piss.
Whee! If you're German, maybe.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
which leads us to one of the single most unique and creative kills I've ever seen in a movie.
I loved it.
It is a phenomenal kill. It's like one of those things where you're sitting there going, oh, that's cool. Wait, why have I never thought of this? Or why has nobody else ever thought this and put this into a movie before?
Most movies aren't quite ready to go where this one goes at times. But
That's true.
Yeah, this movie has balls.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot.
Bowling balls.
Yeah, bowling balls and balls in general. And it's art. I don't fucking care what. And people are gonna roll their eyes and probably go, "Wow, Jen," but I fucking think it's art. Like the way it's set up, and I mean the way the mouths are placed. It's just, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so impressed. Movie.
It's a very well shot, lovingly shot scene.
And I mean, if you're gonna die, that's a great way to go out.
Suffocation?
Yeah, well, suffocation sucks, but at least you're doing something that you love.
Yeah, these are thoughts that only you have.
But tell Marty, if I have a incurable disease, okay, you're gonna euthanate me, Marty, and this is how we're gonna do it.
anyone watching, it's Death by 69. And literally, the killer pushes the girl's head down with his hand and then stands on her back.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the other way around, but I think he pushed her head down.
Yeah, he did. He did. He pushed her head down. Yeah. Yeah, it's glorious. I fucking love it.
Death by 69.
Which, on a men's room floor. And
yeah, just adds a whole other level of dirtiness to it.
Would you guys want to go out like that if you had to?
No. Especially on a men's room floor in a bowling alley.
So I'm the only one.
Yes, apparently so, yes.
Okay. That's about right.
Well, when you've got somebody there, sometimes it does get a little bit difficult to breathe, but
Yeah, that's gonna be on my bucket list. If I get cancer or something, I'm just gonna tell Marty that you're taking me out.
It's just go, God damn it.
But no, seriously, guys, like it's such a creative kill, and like it's again, you're on the bathroom floor. It's sleazy, it's dirty, but it's so much. And yeah, that's what this movie's genius is, right? This kill right here, because like as you're impressed as a horror fan, you're like, God damn, I've never seen this. This is a goddamn good idea. Why hasn't anyone thought of it? But at the other time, even if you're a really hardcore, extreme jaded fan, you're like, ew. This movie walks that line so that's the genius. I think the 69 scene really does inlay the genius of this movie.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong there, honestly. Yeah,
it's definitely one of those pile-on moments. How dirty can we make this?
Mm-hmm.
And then
here for it.
So the next one is the Ted Nugent looking guy, and
oh yeah,
him and the other friend. Slip off for a little private time, and he being the responsible adult that he is, goes off to the same men's room to buy a condom and some cologne out of the vending machines.
I love the condom scene too, all the different brands.
Yeah, it's fun. You can tell the production team were having a blast coming up with all those condom names and designs.
Yep, and another excuse to stick a little bit of nudity in there with the ads for them.
Yeah. And again, but if you want to stop, and I just thought of this now, if you want to stop and think about it, we're okay, even though it doesn't specifically say we're in the 80s, we're in the 80s, and I know it's not in the 80s, but that was actually really smart because safe sex, AIDS was a thing, so that
there were just depending on the area, but yeah, that was a thing that you would see in some more rural, or not rural, but some more city areas in your bigger city.
But it's just kind of a nice, again, it's a really nice touch because it talks about something without being golf. It's not doing it for points, but it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. And like you said, it's responsible. Mm-hmm. Especially with those particular call girls, God knows where they've been.
Well, we get something Ajax won't take off.
Basically, or even bleach.
No.
You just got to rub
it.
Wire brush.
I know exactly. You might discover a new in the process. Yes, darling.
The movie had to constantly pile on filthiness. I think you two are doing it quite well.
And this is why I sent it to you guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who else would appreciate all these little things? Oh, Chad and Christian.
Yeah. Not wrong.
But then you get like the best cosplay ever, which is another one of those iconic scene homages. This one feels a little bit less of a ripoff and more of a tribute.
Yeah.
But the ghost scene from the first Halloween.
Yeah.
But he puts the dude's hair and bandana over the bowling bag, and the chick doesn't realize it's not the same guy.
It's so good. I love that bit. That was probably my single biggest laugh out of the whole movie was when we just cut that. I was like, motherfucker, that's great. That is fucking great.
Now that's fan service. You can
Yeah, like, and somebody who does it, who like Halloween face stuff is very hard to sell for me. But even I was like, no, that's a really great fucking setup. That's really a good callback. That is fucking great. I love that.
That is, and then again, we're in the '80s. Dumb bimbos was a big thing.
It was a trope of slasher movies.
Yeah. Again, this movie knows what it's talking about.
And then, and again, the versions may differ. When he strangles her, he turns her and puts her up against the glass. And she's standing way up as she's hitting the glass in full frontal at times, but definitely breast shot up against the glass.
I like that shot.
Of course you would.
I did. She had a nice pair of boobs.
Well, I feel like that shot, because it's not like a projector room or anything, but it's kind of like it's an up in the area. Kind of gave me projector rooms. I can't pinpoint what, but I feel like that's a reference to a giallo film I've seen. I can't name what it is exactly, but I feel like I've seen something very similar, even with the topless woman in a giallo before.
Probably you have.
Now I'm gonna bring this up for Jen. She's standing fairly straight when she's hitting the glass.
Yeah.
So I don't think that unless he was extremely long, that he was going in the front.
Nope.
Yeah, I thought that too. I kind of, I did. But then that's okay. They're the ones with the condoms. It's fine. Although I've heard it's better like to relax and take a shower. I read a whole article. If you're gonna do it, you should like it. But maybe it wasn't the girl's first rodeo back there.
but here's this: she's getting strangled with a pair of bowling shoes. So you've got, rental shoes in your face.
Ew.
And if it was perhaps her first time in that direction, that's kind of an insulting.
Yeah,
it is kind of, but but again, it's mean spirited and sleazy, and I like that you picked that up too, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, unless this guy's incredibly well endowed, we have to be going in the other direction. I thought that too. I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to disturb you, boy. But
because that's the thing that you said this week that would disturb me. Yeah, sure.
I don't want you to think your mother is, not Donna Reed.
I had to hear you talk about last night how you thought incest was very crucial to a film.
But yeah, I mean, I just kind of thought, again, the way this movie piles things on, but does it in a subtle way. It's like, it goes that extra step just to make sure that everything is it is right on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It straddles a line, and most movies would fail.
Yeah, a lot of them would, because this is maybe not when it came out, but nowadays you see a lot of 80s throwback slashers nowadays. It's a fairly big genre at this point, and a lot of them do fail at a lot of the same stuff that this movie pulls off very well. Like a lot of them do the same tricks, and this movie does it exceptionally well.
Mm-hmm. And smart. Mm-hmm. It's just, I keep going back to that. This movie is super smart. It's smart. A gutterball movie in a bowling alley, but it's super smart. Yeah. It is. Could you say it's an intellectuals film? No, I'm being serious. I'm being funny.
I'm not going to put the movie down at all. I'm definitely agree with you that I think it's a very, very clever film. It is, at the end of the day, it's a slasher movie. I don't think any of the crew was like, we want people for decades to dissect the meanings of these various scenes. I think they were just there because, hey, dude, this would be fucking cool, wouldn't it? Let's do this for this kill. I think that was more so the thing. But I do think it's a smart movie. I definitely think it's a very clever film.
And like I said, you can definitely tell that it's a loving tribute.
Yes.
From one fan to another, from a guy who started his career as an effects artist and worked his way up to second unit, and then started his own company that was the Plot Digger. So that he could direct. It was he wanted to make films, but nobody else would let him do it because he was, an effects guy and a second unit director. So fuck it, I'll start my own company and do it my damn self.
Yeah. And that and that is the true thing of filmmaking.
That is
right
true
there.
filmmaking spirit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds the spirit that he has in this reminds me of like Trauma, like Full Moon. What Charles Band and Ted Nicolau did with that. That's one of those things that, and there are other indies out there, but when you can't get a production company out there to pick up your stuff, you can't get somebody to give you a shot. You just do it your damn self.
Yeah, exactly. Who he also reminds me of is the director of Found and
Batman.
Batman, yes. The same kind of spirit as that. Same kind of tone as.
And I believe he also starred as a second unit director and an effects guy, so that actually is an apt comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. The what do you want to call a girl? The other prostitute. When she finds herself in the bar facing a suit of armor.
Why
you asked that?
Yeah, why is there a random suit of armor in this goddamn Bolarama? That
maybe somebody on the production was a big Scooby-Doo fan.
That's the vibe I got from it, honestly. It was a Scooby-Doo thing.
Hey, Scuba. Good to see you, buddy. For everyone on the horror side, Scuba is one of the vape guys that I follow. He does a live show on Fridays.
Oh, very cool.
Has been doing it for like 10 years now, so he's one of the old guard on it. So the suit of armor, there is a suit of armor in a bowling alley bar.
Mm-hmm.
Happens all the time.
No problem. Yeah. Don't see any issues, whatever.
The local bowling alley, to me, the door to go into the bar looks like an old outhouse door. So
it's an aesthetic.
That. Yeah. But that leads to one of my favorite kills in the movie. One of those that definitely has kind of a Ash kind of feel to it, in the way that it's wonderfully over the top and wonderfully splattery beyond what there is.
This is probably the single most bloody kill of the movie.
Yes.
How much blood does this person have? How much blood do we got? Exactly.
Yeah.
How much leftover blood we got for the day? That's how much she has.
Yep. But she offers the person in the thing fellatio, and he takes 2 bowling balls over his head and drops them. So
I love it.
That's figure between 10 and 16 pounds, and being a guy, probably the heavier ones, so probably 16 pounds in each hand. Swinging down with the force of what you call that?
A Newton's cradle?
Yeah. Where it's just, you just kind of relax your arms and the weight carries them down.
Mm-hmm.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum, yeah.
Yeah, and just the colliding on her head, and just at least a gallon of blood comes out of her head.
Yep.
It's very almost orgasmic. Because he's literally dropping balls on her head. It's like the balls are ejecting and her head is the cum.
That's
right. You got that,
sure,
right? Like
yeah.
everyone else saw that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He blew the back of her head out. That's exactly what,
Yeah. I love it. I think it's awesome.
It's a great kill. It's a really fun kill.
And like you said, the more blood, the better.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those that was kind of, okay, I can see where this is going, and then when it actually hits and you get that full room splatter effect, it was like, okay, yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's horror fans making a horror movie for other horror fans, so they know, like, okay, the audience knows what we're gonna do here. How can we surprise them? Let's just make her have all the blood. Let's just make it the most bloody thing, so it sticks out in their head. They may know exactly what we're doing, but they'll remember it still.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And like the guy who gets his face waxed.
Yes.
Now, look, you guys watched the commentary, so you know that was one of 2 scenes that weren't actually filmed in the bowling alley.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was filmed in a warehouse that they were using for storage because they couldn't put that much blood into the bowling alley and then clean it up. So
Yeah.
you can once you know that you can tell.
Yeah, you can very much tell it's a separate set.
Yeah, but still, you know, the hot wax to the face and down to the bone.
And I also respect it because they said that, you know, they had to literally shoot and then get the hell out before they opened up for the, you know, and that really, you respect that because they are on a tight budget, you know, time budget here.
Yeah,
and they have to clean up. So yeah, you really respect it. Again, indie spirit filmmaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like we were talking about before, you have then you have the scenes in the back room, and that adds a whole different element of dirty to it because you have all the workings and the mechanics in the back. So one dude goes back to the back to see what's wrong with the pin setter, and you have the inevitable scene where the ball return where his head comes back up the ball return.
Of course.
You're almost waiting for it.
Yeah, it's that when you hear a bowling themed slasher movie, there are certain things like, okay, somebody's got to get killed with a pin and a bowling ball, and somebody's head's got to roll up that thing. Those are just required things for this movie.
It's one of those things that I knew was coming. I was waiting for it, and it's one of the effects that doesn't really hold up all that well.
No.
It's one of those you can see the budget in it, but there's like, out of this entire movie, there's like 2 scenes on a $150,000 budget that you can look at and go, okay, that's, you know, budget restrictions got them there. But everything else, you really can't see that tiny budget.
No,
you don't see the strings.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
you don't see the strings in this. No, and that again, it actually looks pretty high end. You know. For what you're working.
For the budget, yes. The movie looks phenomenally high, but like the movie looks double or triple its budget that it has. It does not look like $100,000 budget movie.
Yeah, we've seen
it looks a lot worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those that hides it very well. Again, it goes back for me. A lot of it puts me in mind of the Sam Raimi, especially the second half.
Yes.
Where you get a lot more of the. We bought all this blood, we got to use all this blood kind of thing.
Can't let it go to waste.
Yeah. But then our hero, Steve, gets killed in an interesting way.
Death by fellatiating a bowling pin. I'm here for it.
Maybe if he had done it better.
So in you guys and then we'll kind of get to the end of it. But in your guys' review, Christian mentioned that there was one kill in it that he was not particularly happy about.
Yes.
And I was wondering if it was the Steve being raped with the bowling pin, or if it was the Sam character's death.
It was the Sam one. It was the Steve one. I love the hell out. I was like, that is perfect fucking payback for him. That's great. The Sam one, I do think, is a little bit rough. It's not that I have an issue with it. Really, that one's a little bit more mean spirited than the other ones. Even like, all of the kills in the movie are very mean spirited. That one feels weirdly, especially mean spirited. That one is the only other point besides the rape, where we kind of go a little bit more like kind of take away the tongue-in-cheek element, kind of fun factor, and just go straight back into the kind of like hardcore kind of bummer territory.
But see, that's kind of why I like it, is because, you know, I'm all for fun and a little tongue-in-cheek, but you know me, you
like dark and fucked up movies.
I do like dark and fucked up movies, so for me, it was a big plus. But I can understand I guess I can see for people who aren't there for that might not be quite to where I am. I guess it would be a distractor, but for me, it was a positive.
Yeah.
But I'm just that kind of fucked up individual.
Oh, see, for me, I kind of figured it was that one. But I also kind of thought it might be in the Steve one because it's just a stab in the ass. I mean, you never he really deserved a lot more than.
Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah, I could see that with that honestly being a little bit of a letdown. I felt it was an appropriate one, especially because like the whole movie is like everybody making fun and belittling him. So I guess I kind of lump all of that into it with it as well, though. But yeah, I can see that being kind of not as good of a payoff as it probably should have been.
Not as satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of.
But you look at that, even that's even a thing with like a lot of rape revenge films. Like I Swear on Your Grave, none of their deaths are particularly satisfying, and like the mastermind behind all of it, Johnny dies second in the movie. It's Stanley and Andy that die last in that movie. So like I guess you could say it's maybe like a callback to that of like it's not as satisfying. Nothing we do is going to make it as satisfying to the audience for the horrible actions they did. So we'll just kind of do our best with what it is, but we're not going to kill ourselves trying to make a super elaborate thing like we're trying too hard.
This isn't a Saw movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Sam one was kind of overly mean to me. The post-death mutilation was a little bit. I mean, for me, honestly, you could have done that one if you wanted to make it fit more. You could have done that while was still alive. But then again, showing the bifurcation was pretty gnarly, so it kind of makes up for it.
Yeah.
But for me, Steve gets raped with a sharpened bowling pin and then beaten in the head with another one, and that's all you get. Was kind of. I mean, it kind of pulls things down, which makes the climax look a little bit better to me. You get one of Jen's favorite scenes where the two remaining characters,
I can't remember her name either, actually.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah. Whereas Sarah and the black guy, Jamie.
Yeah, I knew it was a J.
Yeah. The director's commentary about him insisting on the pick. I found that to be somewhat amusing.
Yeah, that was funny. That was
come on, it's not the 80s without it,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true though.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
So you get to the trophy room reveal, which again I completely agree with Jen. I got that whole thing of Sleepaway Camp 2 where they walk in and all the bodies are all laid out, and we get the reveal of who the killers are.
Yes.
Emphasis on killers plural.
Plural, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Sean, Horror with Hoss won the draw. That was the first thing that we did.
Yep.
So
neither one of us got Emmanuel, Sean.
I was gonna say if you guys win Gutterballs, you should piff it to Sean.
Yeah, Sean, this is one we need to do.
Sean, you should check out Gutterballs. You'd like this movie.
Yeah.
With how much you love stuff like Maniac, you should check this one out.
Yeah, it's definitely a loving tribute in places to Maniac. I think that the double bowling ball kill was kind of to a degree to the shotgun scene.
Mm-hmm.
From Maniac.
Yes.
So we get to the reveal of the multiple killers in this one, or we get to the reveal that there are multiple killers first.
Yeah.
So which one did you guys not see coming on that one?
See, it's a weird thing. I suspected both of them as culprits, but I also kind of expected both of them to be red herrings at the same time too. I was like, okay, when the first one shows up, I was like, okay, yep, I figured that much. I figured that much. And then when the other one walked out, I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting a 2-killer kind of thing. I was not expecting a scream to happen.
Because you think one of them is,
Yeah, you think, yeah. You got. I honestly was, I was expecting it to be the rape victim. I was expecting her to be the killer of the movie.
Yeah, I kind of was too. And it would have been poetic justice if that had worked out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was just the mastermind behind it, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Typical.
Which works.
Typical. And Daddy!
Yeah, you manipulating the others in the plan.
Yeah, you find out that it's Daddy, and you find out that it's
Patrick.
Patrick is been roped into helping because he felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the scenes for me, the apology scene, where the actor didn't really. I don't know if he was trying to play it insincere, but it kind of come across.
I thought he was doing that purposefully because he would be insincere. Like he might, like even in his own, like maybe in his head he was, but really deep down he wasn't.
Yeah, he was mostly doing this to cover his ass, and so he wasn't going to get murdered or get the cops called on him.
Yeah, it's like, you're not terribly sorry you stole, but you're terribly, terribly sorry you got caught. That's kind of the mentality he had.
Yeah, I don't know if he was doing it intentionally or not, but yeah, that's the vibe I got.
I kind of got that, but I also kind of was questioning some of the mannerisms and all that it might have been acting, or it might have been, insincerity in the character. So that was one of the few times that I kind of, after that opening sequence, because there's some really bad line readings in the opening sequence.
Yeah, there is.
The thing about the size of the balls, that was kind of dry.
Yeah.
But again, because it's subverting your expectations.
Yeah. Like this is a movie that I don't know if it was fully done intentionally or not. The movie definitely does start off on its worst leg forward.
Yeah.
But it immediately makes up for it and picks up for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those things. So, and then the foreshadowing with the knife comes into play, which switchblades don't actually work that way either. But it's a bowling alley cipher. But so
I didn't notice actually.
Yeah,
it's one of those. Maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know, but I mean, it's if you put it up beside somebody like that, it'll actually pop off the track. It actually won't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I didn't know. No, there probably is a guy thing. That's something I didn't pick up.
Yeah, it's like the gas in the chainsaw for 40 years.
Yeah, Marty had to explain that one to me. I was like, oh yeah, it didn't occur to me.
Yep.
Yeah, but so they kill off Patrick with a really bad joke, but it made me laugh because it was bad.
I like to think it was an intentionally bad joke. I like to think it was intentionally.
It was one of those things where, you have the character in the movie who tells bad jokes, and it's funny because they're bad jokes. The jokes aren't actually funny. So what did you guys think of the aftermath after they walk out the door? After our survivors.
The ending is something where I kind of feel it ends weirdly abruptly. Like I like the idea of like, oh, they set all this up and just the father went a little overboard and just killed everyone because he blamed them for not protecting his daughter and being shitty friends. I liked all those ideas, and then the ending just kind of feels like an anticlimax. Like, okay, how do we end this? They walk out the door and she pulls a gun out on him. Cut to page black. I'm like, okay.
I kind of like it actually because sometimes it's good and it kind of leaves you wondering. And I don't. They obviously they make a 2, but at the time we don't know that it's going to be a 2.
Yeah.
I kind of like it actually. I really because it leaves a lot of possibilities. And
I suppose
I would be willing to spend time with what's left of these characters again.
Possibly, yeah.
So I was okay with it.
I kind of was, and at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you've already had a good shotgun blast in it, and your movie's being directed by your FX guy, and you fade to black, and then you hear the shotgun blast. Wasn't that kind of a missed another head splatter, another
For the road.
Yeah, end on one last big effects gag or something. Yeah, do like a full a scanner style head explosion, or like you said, a maniac style like head explosion with Savini. Do something like that. Give us one last little effects gag for the road thing. Yeah.
I see that. I kind of liked it. I don't know why. I just kind of did.
I liked the story of it. I just felt like it was missing that one last punch.
Yeah.
And then we get the credits roll, and we get the who killed who montage in it,
which is something I really like. Actually, I like that they included that in. That's always a fun thing I like about movies that have multiple killers. I always like figuring out who killed who. That's one of the few things I kind of like is about Scream, is like figuring out which one's Billy and which one's the other guy.
A nod to clue.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we have this little like thing. Like, here's for those of you wondering and having an OCD thing over who killed who. Here's how it played out. Like, that's fun.
Yeah, it is. For those of you playing the home game.
Yeah, for those of you playing the home game.
Yeah. But in your review, you said that you had an idea for how you'd change the end of it. You still have that idea now that you've watched it again, or?
I'm trying to remember what it was there, and I'm trying to remember now. Shit.
What was it?
I don't actually remember. It's such a cop-out, but I genuinely forgot what the idea I had there. I had it up there immediately watching. I was like, okay, this. And now I completely fucking forgot what it was. Shit.
Natural born killers?
Yeah, sure. They all go to space and join a space bowling team.
That's your answer for everything.
Yes, it is.
But all in all, this was a movie that I so wish that I had seen sooner and could have been one of those that I just kept talking about and kind of kept pushing on on certain friends who would enjoy this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's, again, we've all said many times on this one, it is a loving tribute to 80s slashers. There's definitely some Gutterballs 2. Gutterballs 2, unfortunately, will probably not be around for a while. So, U.S. only? Okay. I guess that's how you say it.
Us only. His name's Rick.
Okay. So, the story with Gutterballs 2 is that girls. There was plenty of that. Actually, it's called Balls Deep. Ryan Nicholson. Oh, you have it?
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Huh.
So the story with the release for that coming up, according to Unearthed Films, is they bought the rights to all of Nicholson's filmography, and they plan a Blu-ray release of it either in 2023 or 2024. So there's supposed to be a full-on, full hardcore version of it that's coming out eventually. The only people, as far as I know, that got it were the people who were backers, but that was what from what I had read. So I may be wrong on that one.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I knew you did, Rick.
Yeah.
You probably love hardcore underground cinema more than anyone in the community.
Yeah. Is it as good as the first, or is it even better?
Or is it a letdown?
Don't
Honestly,
say that.
I can't imagine it being as much fun as this one is. I can't imagine it being too much of a letdown.
True.
Yeah, I can't either. Although, look at Death House.
Oh God, Death House.
There are those cases.
Yeah. There's a couple of them on my list, but I'm not gonna pick on people tonight. So.
Whatever movies could you be talking about?
But it's all out of fun and out of love. Everybody has their own opinions, so
Yeah,
absolutely.
I fully appreciate and accept that. and it's one of those things. So gonna wrap it up here, guys. I really do appreciate y'all joining me tonight and talking about this movie.
We appreciate you having us. We really do. This was
and the drawing earlier.
Very cool.
Okay, he says it's cool. He liked the part 1 the most, though. So
I get that.
You know, the drawing tonight.
Yeah,
We will.
of course.
So the entrants for it were Jen, Marty, Monty, Brad, Horror with Hoss, Hobbs Horror, and Robert Harding, and our winner was Horror with Hoss. All of my social media links are down below in the description. I already did that the other day when I prepped the stream. So, Hoss, when you see this, get in touch with me on there, and I'll get your prize package out to you. Probably be next Wednesday because that's my next day off. Probably won't do it before work. And again, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. It means a lot.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
You guys' commentary and race calling for the drawing was a lot of fun. I can't really do that and watch 2 things at once. So, and it was kind of me just sitting there doing this, but
Awesome.
It's good. Howdy, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, buddy. Thank you so much for the shout out and the people that you sent over my way, Jason. And thank you to everybody who put out a video. That was so much fun hearing everybody's answers. And actually, the question was actually somewhat inspired by the top 5 from the 1980s that we were doing. And Christian and Charles Cochran both had a couple of movies on their list that were ones that had gotten past me. It just kind of struck me that, you know, it'd be kind of interesting to hear what movies had gotten past other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seemed like rather than doing one of those things where I come up with 5 questions or something like that everybody has done.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it too, is that this was something a little different.
Yeah, it was very fun to kind of think over, like, okay, what movies were we really fucking late to or missed out on?
And it was cool watching everyone else's because we found some movies that we're late to.
Yeah,
no
matter what, you're gonna get different opinions from everyone and different answers.
It was a lot of fun to do that, and there's definitely a couple more movies on that list to check out now. So, yeah, I want to thank everyone who participated. That was so great. I want to thank everybody who participated in the 80s tag that inspired this. One of the things that, like I did with my first contest that was a question that nobody else asked was, and I expected everybody to say the truck from Maximum Overdrive was the one about your favorite horror movie vehicle. And I got a lot of different responses to that, but I fully expected everybody to say the Goblin truck. You know, so I wanted to do a question that was a little bit different, and you guys definitely knocked it out of the park, and so did everybody else who participated. So you guys, thank you for everybody who joined us in the chat tonight. Horrific Nightmares, Rick. Us Only, Scuba was here early, and Hobbs Horror, and Sean. Cannot forget Sean. Thank you so much, buddy. Some couple of new faces there, so at least to me anyway. Thank you all so much for participating and stopping by. Thank you, Jen and Christian, for coming on. And if you guys want to say your goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
Shut
up. I'm going to plug Moon. And guys, if you guys have not, if you're watching, like, future people watching this, definitely, if you haven't hit the subscribe button on Moon's channel, definitely do it because he does awesome things. He's always running cool contests, asking cool questions. We're doing the 80s. We're doing 87. We're doing
80.
Or 86.
Yeah, for a little bit of plug for us. Yeah, we're probably within day or two, our top 10 horror movies of 1986 will be coming out.
Fun story. We had our list prepared, and then we found 2 movies, one with Farrah Fawcett and one from the Aussie, and we're like, fuck, we gotta watch this. So it might be a day or 2.
Yeah.
But
that will be coming out quite soon. And Tales from the Crypt's continuing on. Just reviews in general for us.
Yeah.
The usual.
And Moon, you've got to see Julia Darling.
Oh, Julia Darling.
That's on my list. That one is one that I haven't seen, but I want to see it.
It's a movie.
You really got to see it.
One of the ones that, like I was saying, that Christian mentioned and Charles mentioned was Fade to Black.
Yes.
That was one that I completely missed. I hadn't even heard of it till a couple of years ago, and then both you guys mentioned it, and I watched it. And I did actually finally watch Terror Train, which is one that I had not seen. It's one that I had always heard of. I just hadn't seen it.
Yes.
Hello, it's Terror Train.
It took me 2 tries to get through it, but...
Thank you! See, I'm not the only one! It's not that good! I'm going to say it! Ooh, like Terror Train! I'm sorry, Jason. I might hurt you.
It's not bad, but it's not good. It's
Thank you.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
See?
I by no means did I hate it, but I couldn't love it either.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, I like the conductor. I love that actor. And I like the idea of the setting. And I think they did okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's just not
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Moon. That's a real good way to put it. There's a remake coming in October.
Oh boy.
well, you never know.
Movie's making it.
Yep.
Well, you never know.
True.
That hurts. You made Jason cry.
I made Jason cry when we watched it together in New Year's that one time. I'm sorry, Jason. I cried. I cried so many times. Sorry. Not enough fucked upness for Jen.
It's pacing issues and yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those that is so middle of the road. There's not a lot I can really say.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fuck Terror Train stream now.
I still love you, Jason. I still love you, though.
Just not terrible.
Again, I don't dislike the movie, but I don't like the movie either. It's literally that thin line down the middle where it's like.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It's not the movie, yes.
It does, Jason. It does. That's just not enough to save the movie, though. I'm sorry.
No, it's actually one of the points that his magic is cool, but his acting is not.
No, as somebody who loves Terror Train deeply, no, he's a terrible actor.
Yeah. He's one of those things that's on both sides of the line that just kind of leaves it. You know, it's like the up-close magic is cool, but the acting is wooden.
Yes, yes, it is.
And a little Shatner in places. It kind of halts.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. See, I'm just glad I'm not the only one because I thought I was the only one.
All right. So again, thank you all so much for joining me, and thank you all for coming in. And we are going to end the stream here, guys. I do very much appreciate it, and thank you all for watching and for participating. It is definitely a product of its time, Jason. It is that.